Have a great episode.
I
See you
love
on
you
the
so
flip
much.
side.
I love you so much.
Winston, I got a black hole.
All right.
What time is it there right now? It's got to be like butt crack early, right?
No, it's actually good. It's like 11 a.m. So it's fine.
Oh.
I've had like coffee. I've had my breakfast. I'm good to go. You guys have got like prime time when like the lasers of my brain align perfectly with the amount of
Did
coffee
you,
I've had. You
get a
all
surf
the
in?
crumble. Not today.
No,
Surf's
okay.
bad. Surf's 2 weeks of bad. That's okay. It means I'm focused on things, so it's nice.
There you go. Yeah. Well, hey, Winston, how are you, bud?
Doing good. Rolling into summer. Like finished up touring for the year, feeling good. Like, I mean, it's hot. There's no surf, and it means I'm getting excited to go on a cruise. So,
Yeah, I think I saw you last time up in at Rockfest there in Wisconsin, not too long ago. Yeah, with Shinedown. Yep.
Good times.
Cadot?
Yeah, good
Is
time.
it still Cadot?
Is it Cadot? There you go. Cadot.
Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey,
it sounds American, that's for sure. Wherever it's
Oh, yeah.
it sounds fucking awful.
so hey, man, you just talked about the finish of the tour. Where do we begin? You guys are in an arms race with Rammstein and the whole fire thing,
dude. Yes.
Yeah. No.
I mean, it's awesome. You're like this. It's like there's the one thing where you're, and I think anyone who's a fan has seen this thing where you're up on it. It's the contraptions moving up with the fire, and you're like the wizard from the mountaintop. You're like inside sort of like a Led Zeppelin album. And you're just a wizard with all this fire, and it's just like, at what point did they concoct this? And I know I was watching some of like the pre-tour B-roll when you guys were kind of laughing, like we don't know what you're looking at, but you're going, we can't believe we're doing this.
Yeah.
Great hype video, by the way.
Cheers. Thank you.
Yeah.
but I mean, it was honest. Like it was, I'll run you through the whole thing, man. Like it's, because that's kind of the melt your brain part of the show. The whole thing escalates constantly. Like the show was a constant roller coaster of like, oh, this is insane. And then 10 minutes or 10 seconds later, you're like, oh no, this is more insane. Right up until that point you see. But when we actually put the entire thing together, that hype roll that you saw was actually the first time Luke and I went down to see the construction of the stage.
Yeah.
And when we walked in and it was put together, we were like, oh my God, this thing is enormous. Like this, did we do it to the right specs? This is like 3 stories high.
Spinal Tap moment in your mind?
Yeah, 100%. That's what I was thinking. I was like Stonehenge. But, but yeah, there was the bridge and the fire was it was definitely a moment of I was already gonna go up, and we used that bridge a couple of times. Like it rises in the air and does numerous things, and Luke was like, hey, why don't you go up at the end of Crushed and you sing it from the air? And I'm like, yeah, but Jeff's already done it with Sparks. Like, it's kind of nothing. And it's like, what if we put flamethrowers on the side? What if we just add flamethrowers and it shoots flames sideways? And then we've got the pit of flames underneath me. And then you've got the flames up the back. And then you've got a flying fire spider and I'm riding it. And then we all just giggled. And then we're like, yeah, that. That's the one.
How many pyro guys do you carry with you on tour? I'm just
I'm not sure how many. We have a massive crew. Like, but the crew that we're running on this time, they do Adele stuff and bring me stuff and a bunch of other things. Like just for reference, like there's fire, there's sparks, there's smokes, there's water, there's movement, and there's a spinning drum cage that's upside down and Molotovs getting thrown across the stage and a dance crew, and we also enter the entire show through the back of the crowd and just walk through the crowd with our crew.
That is awesome.
One security guard.
What? You know what? That's USC stuff, man. The prize fighter making his way to the ring. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's it. 100%. Like it's the like it's an interesting set. Like we're trying to celebrate like 20 years of being this band, and it's a really interesting thing to do because you want to capture not just nostalgia. Like we don't want to fall into being like just a nostalgia act of just like, hey, cash in on all of these things all the time and give nothing new back. We're like, no, we still have so much to do and so much to prove and so many places we want to take people. But at the same point in time, we want to celebrate what is already there. And we started at a very basic place, just like band, stage, no barrier, friends jumping on your heads. You can high five the singer, you can grab the microphone or whatever. So the idea of building a show where you literally start in the crowd, seeing these faces, high-fiving everyone, walking through the pit with everyone, and there's no barrier, and we play the first 2 songs on a stage, which is literally, I don't know, 20 feet by 20 feet, and that's it. And there's a drum kit in the middle of it, just in the middle of the crowd. And then
That's what that is.
Yeah, that's what it is. So we start this literally in the middle of the crowd, and then the whole set gets revealed, and then it just starts escalating from there. So you take it from this personal moment through to the mind melt at the end, where you're just like, what the fuck is happening?
Oh, you guys are fucking awesome, dude. Holy shit.
Does it kind of tie in?
Real quick? Can I share the screen? Because I can't do it because I need a request. But I'm looking at this photo and I'm seeing exactly everything I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh my fucking God. Because you can't really, like, just by hearing what you're saying, you can't picture how dangerous and insane all of this actually looks until you see a fucking photo of it. And I wish I could share my screen. I don't have the permissions on it, but I would love to know what people Google it. In this fucking photo.
We'll get it out to them.
What are you thinking?
What's the picture? What's the picture of?
All right.
Tell me.
So I'll describe it.
Yeah.
You are above what looks to be, I don't know, probably 25 feet above hands, right?
Yeah.
There's straight up beams, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, straight up beams from the stage. There's like 4 coming in the side. So there's like fucking 8, 12, 14, and then you're on this platform, like I said, about 25 feet above the crowd in the middle of the room with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looks like 8 fucking fire blasts going off at the same time. It looks like you're in fucking hell. Dude.
Yeah, that's what we're going for, kind of thing. I mean, the emotion at that point is it's basically boom. Like it's kaboom.
Yeah,
that's the fire spider right there. I tell you a really hilarious fact about this photo that you can't see. Just behind the hands, you see like a wall of flame, which is where I start the song, which is literally like that little stage just ringed in fire. And as soon as I'm up in the air, our drum tech has a lift where he drops the stage down and has to assemble the drum kit in the middle of all of those flames while I'm standing above him shooting flames. So while this is going on, I'm looking down at Dan, our drum tech, while I'm screaming and shooting fire, and he's in a literal pit of fire putting together a drum kit that's then going to come up through the stage for the next song.
Is this the next song?
Oh no, that's the same song. That's all going on while I'm
chapter 2.
I had to. Thank you, Jen, for that.
That's how the song begins, and then we escalate to that point. So yeah,
my heart is racing, dude. I'm just looking at it like the amount of fucking whoopsies that could potentially go wrong,
dude.
And you guys made it.
I mean, and I'm scared of heights as well. So like setting this whole thing up, I was like, I signed on to this thing. And then we rocked up at rehearsals and we're like, and now it's your time to ride the lift. And I was just like, kill me. This sucks.
Ride the lightning, baby.
This sucks. Yeah. Wow. This sucks. But you kind of, add the adrenaline of the people and then the fire going off. And by every night I was just like, yeah, let me off the side of this thing. Oh my God. Yes. Just absolutely raging up there. So yeah.
So the terror is real.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, by the end of your performance, your wardrobe person just must hate you.
Yeah, to a degree. She's done a really, really good job.
It's like, again? Oh my God.
Yeah.
So with the show as bombastic and big as it is it somehow tied to Darker Still, or is it just kind of like its own?
No, it was its own. I tell you what it is. It's Darker Still has its own place in there. This is essentially the crystallization of 20 years of what Parkway is, and Darker Still was kind of like the final piece.
Yeah.
To that puzzle. It's a really strange thing to say because like Darker Still, the song is in the set, Glitch is still in the set, and then it spans a whole bunch. It spans our entire career really quite quite evenly. But it's a strange thing when this is the first time where I ever feel like as a band, sonically, we have all of the pieces of the puzzle together where you can put them in a set and people go, now I understand. Like, now I understand all of the creative decisions that have happened in these bursts of records over this massive lifespan. And you can see the band's potential for what it fully is. Because it's not that Darker Still or Reverence or Ire or all the way back to Killing with a Smile were like incomplete records. It's just that it's taken 20 years of growing and articulating our sound and our vision and essentially catching up with our imagination to the point where you can put something together and all of it finally makes 100% sense. Which is like, that's a really strange thing to try and tell people when you've done 7 albums and you're 20 years into a career, and you started in one place and you're currently in a very different place. But it sonically, it really, like, this band's always been searching and pushing, or it's always been searching and pushing. And this is the kind of thing where you can put together the most brutal songs we have and then some of the most tender songs we have and put them all together in this environment, and it all really makes people, I think, understand in the best way possible what Parkway Drive actually means. So yeah, that was the goal of it, and I think it's kind of, it's from the feedback, it seems like it's hit, which has been really, really nice.
It must be super bewildering for the fans who've been there for 20 years, kind of you guys coming from this regional hardcore act to this thing, right? You become this, it's like, hey, I saw Metallica kill them all, but holy shit, what they're doing now, it's kind of like in the round in these stadiums. The evolution is just amazing. At what point, when you were making your music as you're going along and the albums are progressing, did you seem kind of like you feel like a little shift, like we're going boom, boom, boom? Was there
the first
point where...
the first one, like the first time of it was when we made Ire, which was like 3 records ago, and that was almost 10 years ago now. And that was the point where, like, we felt it was the imagination of the band pushing against the safety net of the band, if that makes sense. And the safety net was like, hey, you come from this place, and it's a place where everyone is very passionate about what you have been, but you know what you want to do does not fit in the realm that you've already been in. And if you keep retreading the same things, you're just going to end up with like lesser versions of things that you're already very proud of. So at that point, when we chose to go, you know what, we're going to go someplace that people don't expect, and that's the road that we're committing to, was the point when everything started shifting, because that was the point when we kind of took a lot more control and ownership over everything that we did creatively, rather than the control and ownership going to like fear and a sense of like luck. It went a bit more into like, hey, we've been doing this for a while, we got this, like, what do you actually want to do with this thing? It ain't stopping. And from that point, it started growing. I was the first time we had an exponential growth of like, that was when shows went from like 2,500 to 5,000 kind of thing. And when you get that kind of exponential growth, you're like, oh, that's a massive jump. Like 1,000 to 2,000 is a large jump, but then when the exponentiality happens past that point, it starts getting really, really crazy. And that was when it moved up in that way. And from that point as well, like, we kept doing the same thing in terms of just, we kept following the same drive, which was essentially not do the same thing. It was like, hey, where else do you want to go with this? What other pieces do you want to create? What other things have you imagined for this band that you haven't been able to create previously? Work on that, like work on the things that you can't do to create something new. And that's where we went with it. And we just doubled down on everything we did. Like, it's expensive to do. It's a risk to do. It takes your time. It takes your energy. It takes your life to do this thing. But that's what we've been doing, just because it's been, I mean, it's kind of our mission. That's been our mission statement ever since. So and we end up at this point though. That's the thing. And I think the neat thing is, coming all the way back around, yeah, we played these shows and we have people who are saying like, man, I saw you at like a youth center to 30 of my friends. And
Over in the
that
States, I
is,
saw your first tour. Here
yeah,
in the
that's
States.
it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And the thing with it is, it's not a show where you look at it and you go, oh man, this is not the band that I remember. It's the band that you remember doing something that you never thought was possible for a band that you saw doing that. That Metallica comparison that you made at the start is like, I mean, that's something we throw around a lot. I'm like, every band, like Metallica, would have started playing to 30 people. There are people that would have been able to go, I saw Metallica to 30 people. I saw
Yeah.
Green Day play to 5 people at a high school or something like that. And then one day they become this thing, which you never could have imagined because you saw them at this place. But when you draw the line and you're so honest with where it's gone and you don't make an apology for where you've actually taken it, it's understandable that it gets somewhere because you haven't just like tried to pull the wool over someone's eyes and all of a sudden come out and gone, hey, surprise, we're something completely different. We sold our souls.
It's super funny because there's almost a sentimental thing, I think, for fans. It's kind of like, and I don't want to sound like in any way, shape, or form cliche, but it's just like, they've grown, they're growing, they're doing these things. If they can do this with this entire thing, I can do this with my life, me by
Yes.
myself. I can no longer be set in these ways. I've got to change. I've got to take those risks. I got to take the safety net out. If I fail, I fail. But I'm going out big, right?
Yeah, that's it.
And
100%.
that's I think fans, they used to be kind of like, they feel like they had ownership of you. Like, you can't change. I mean, I'm like, dude, I'm 50. I'm not 18 anymore. I change. You change.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that's
and
it.
then
Yeah.
that's the fan you want. That's the fan you care about what they feel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. And I think it comes
Yeah.
down to like communication with it as well. It's like communication and mutual respect and trust. And where I think we're lucky in our fan base that there's trust grown there of us letting people know why we're doing and what we're doing and how we're going to do it. It's I think that's a really basic like communication. I think that it's really when people get jaded by a band or fall out of love with band, it so much of it seems to come down to like an egotistical like decision not to let people in, like a protectiveness, if that makes sense. Because I think there's been and a gatekeeper for better or worse, of like, you don't know this band, I own it, I'm going to do whatever I want, even if it sounds crap, and I'm going to be self-sabotaging of what I do, or not letting people know why you're making the choices you make or anything like that. And yeah, it's a very interesting thing, but it's the entire way that we've gone through this it's allowed it to not stagnate, and we've allowed people into the point of understanding us as people, I guess, if that makes sense.
Your
Like,
DNA.
we're quite that's it. It's, I mean, that's really it. Like, it really is. It's strange. Like, it's so I think so much of this band's connection comes down to genuine connection, of the fact that like I meet people in the street who are like, hey, it's Singer at Parkway, how you doing? I'm like, good, how you doing? We'll have a chat like normal humans, and that's the interaction. It's not like, oh my god, you're this being from another planet, like I'm melting into the floor. I'm like, no, we're just people, and we're on a journey which you can relate to, and that can be, it's a very different and wholesome kind of inspiration and drive for people, which is connect.
It's funny. You mentioned trust, and Bruce Dickinson the other day said on a different podcast, he mentioned that's the trust. Is like, we as artists, we're not making what you want us to make. We're going to make what we want to make, and you're going to trust us because you've come this far. Can you keep trusting us after 30 odd years? We'll deliver what you want live, but for recorded history, we need to make what we need to make.
Yeah.
You know,
And and I think it's an interesting thing of like, at the end of the day, who do you like? Every band started in a place where the trust of the sound and the show that you saw came down to a very small group of people. It would have been the people that were in the band going, hey, I like playing this and I like listening to this. This is the music that I enjoy. Now it's called this. Let's go play some gigs and record it. That's it. And if it maintains at that basic like quality control level, and you don't have a whole bunch of outside voices in who have nothing to do with creativity but are involved in, I don't know, fucking marketing or selling a soft drink or a soda or something, then you're going to end up with a different level of trust. Like the trust then goes into someone who doesn't necessarily understand that. But for us, like that has always been our fallback. Like you can't even, it's hard to understand when all of a sudden you've got like tens of fans, hundreds of fans, thousands of fans or whatever, and they're all like, I like this, I like this, I like this, oh my god, do this thing that I like. And you end up having, it's like too many cooks in the kitchen. So it comes back to, if you can follow the trust in yourself and the group of people that you create the art with in the first place, that's the ultimate quality control. And I guess that's the thing of just going, hey people, I'm letting you know that we still love doing this. You can trust us when we say it's going to be this kind of thing. Might sound a little different, but trust us when we say that we enjoy it. So we've enjoyed it in the past, and you've enjoyed it. That's how it's going to work.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, man, you got to be patient, you know, and not everything's an instant sell. Praise an instant song. You get it. The hook's there right away. Some of the songs, Soul Bleach, instant. It's instant. It's right there. Recognizable sound, but Glitch, it's a little different. You gotta grow with it, man. But once it grows on you, you can't get it off.
That's it. It's like mold.
Yeah.
There was this thing I wanted to ask you, but you kind of already did it. And I just wanted to interject because you said it so well. The question was, okay, so give me one sentence that culminates all that is your DNA over the past 20 years. But you kind of nailed it on the head, and that's truth and quality control, right?
Yeah.
And like that's literally, think of everything that I just was thinking about that as you're talking. It's like everything that we trust and has quality control in our lives, we continue to be consumers of, right? Music is that, and a higher level because it's art, it's feelings, and you don't really often find in the world of all that is available an act like Parkway Drive where they're wearing that on their you guys are wearing that on your chest, on your sleeves, and going out there and doing it. Trust and quality control. It's like it seems so stupid and simple, but it's literally so hard to fucking mix up and create and more importantly, be born with it in your DNA.
Cheers. Yeah, it is, man. And it's difficult to maintain. That's the thing. I mean, I think we've definitely got a special group of individuals within this band. Like the band dynamic fosters that. And it's not like it's born out of everyone just going, oh yeah, we're all on the same page. This is great. Like it's born out of compromise and communication and all of the things that make a relationship work. This is just an artistic relationship of a bunch of friends who have, like, if I've said it previously, but if any single member of this band did an individual like solo project or a solo art of any kind, it would sound so vastly different from Parkway. But the trust element is between the individuals in this band to understand that we are the extra colors in the palette that the other people don't have or aren't necessarily able to imagine, but we trust each other to know that those extra elements are what's going to bring our complete vision to the higher place. So you think of that and then you magnify it by what the audience brings and the ability for us to now have 20 years of experience doing this to create more. And it's just really, it's really neat. So.
It's also funny to step back from what you guys do and you kind of watch a show or you listen to music, you step back and go, wait a minute, these guys are married with families and bills and lawns to be mowed and cars to be washed. It's like, you know what? But they also have this is the life we know of them, but there's also this other life that, you know, you can go on Instagram and see you guys living your family lives, right? It's like they're fucking normal dudes, man. They just do this really cool shit, you know?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah.
Like,
we're definitely subscribed to the cool shit.
Absolutely.
But no, that is the thing. It's really, we constantly have this this discussion, like, because it is like we're at this really insane place in our career. Like it is really insane. It's not lost on us how gigantic this has become and the awesome things that we are able to do. And like every time we got off stage on that last tour, we're just like, dude, we made this. What the hell? How did we make this? I don't understand how we've grown to the point where we can create this show and this music, but it makes sense. But at the same time, it's not lost on us that this is just like, it's a lot. And we're not quite sure how, for all of the craziness, I can't quite remember how I started this one, but for all of the craziness, like we do talk a lot of like, how do people forget that this is crazy? How do people get so lost? Like, it's like, and we know that we are like, everything you said about us being ordinary dudes is like, it's really correct. And I'm not sure how anyone other than us is not ordinary.
Maybe
like
maybe
like it's two separate things, but it's the same thing. But at the same point in time, I'm like, I don't know, maybe all the people that you see on stage doing the crazy stuff do just go home and like mow the lawn. It's weird. You're not taught that. You're taught that like when you're doing like ridiculous shows and everything's on fire and stuff, you drive off in your Ferrari and hop in a private jet and do a bunch of blow and like, I don't know, go and do something absolutely insane. But I don't know, like for us, it's like I get home and I pat my cat and I give her some food and I go outside.
And she's like, I don't give a fuck that you were
like,
just
I don't
a
give a fuck,
superstar.
you were late this afternoon. Where's my food? I wanted my food.
well, and maybe that's the thing. Is like you don't have this other stimulation. Just talked about hopping in your private plane and getting your Ferrari and doing drugs and all.
Yeah.
You don't have that, right? So the high, the natural high, is the show. Being still blown away and stoked by your own. Well, shit, we stoked by this thing we just created, but you said after the stoke has gone, you go, wait a minute, we have to be responsible. We have an audience to pay attention to. We have a crew to pay attention to. We have safety and fire laws. We have to be adults, right? Let's stop being 100%. In awe of this. Let's get to work. Yeah, it's crazy.
100%. Like so much of it is like, so much of that is like the show is. You nailed it 100% there. Like I look so much forward to being on stage and just playing, because the work behind the scenes of like walking around and talking to the security and making sure the crew's okay and like putting this entire thing together, like that's what does my absolute head in. And to like shout out to our crew as well, like and for anyone that has not that doesn't necessarily understand how psychotic it is to put on any kind of show, let alone the one that we're doing at this point in time, that falls on the crew more than the band. Like if we're just the little brain at the top going, nah, do this thing. This is what my brain's telling me. You got to do that and you got to do that. They're the ones executing all of this stuff on a timeline. And that's where the actual danger is. And that's where like we're on stage for 2 hours and 15 minutes and they have one of the biggest productions I've ever seen to assemble, deassemble, drive 9 hours to the next major city and assemble again in time for doors, which happen in 12 hours. And the mental stress and the physical stress that those people are put under, that they then come through and do every night. So 5 guys can stand on stage and go, whoa, look at this crazy thing we did, is absolutely nuts. And I'm in awe of our road crew and what they've been able to achieve with this show, because like, man.
Isn't that the thing? But isn't that the thing though too? That's like, you know what, man, if sometimes you're like, hey man, you know, if anything tonight, let's do this for the crew. Let's make them let's show them that the 18 hours a week they put in was not for shit. Let's put on the best show so they look good. We're all gonna look great. We're all gonna look great tonight.
Every single night, like I'm doing a at the curtain call, there's a thank you to every single person involved in the show, including like the final one being the biggest for the entire crew that no one sees. But like that, I it's one thing being a musician, but the people working on our actual production, the road crew, are absolute legends. Like I can't imagine being able to pull that off. Like the mental fortitude of those people being able to look at 5 guys on stage trying to articulate their vision and them going, all right, we can make this happen. Let's assemble those giant steel girders and put fire on them.
Perfect. Yeah. So you did the European tour. You guys have.
Yeah.
I hate using the word conquered, but let's say you've gotten to the point now where you're festival headliners on the biggest festivals in Europe. You're finally home. You're doing the big arena tour, and it's just a homegrown thing. I was like, you know, now Australia, you know, they've had their exports, AC/DC, and Access, Midnight Oil, whatever you want to consider, but you're their guys now, right? Our
Yeah.
guys are up there doing this, and they're playing the biggest venues in our home country. This is amazing. And obviously, it's always the thing like, what's next? We'll say, well, America. So, American scene, you've played the big festival, you've done all the Louder Than Lights and all that stuff. And it's kind of like, and you obviously pay attention to what's going on. America is running out of headliners. Right, they keep recycling them, and we love seeing Metallica and Pantera, and I mean they drug Slayer back out. Right, the offer was big enough to get Slayer out of retirement, get Tom off the ranch.
Yeah,
but
off the ranch, Tom.
Yeah, off the ranch, Tom.
Yeah.
Now it's like, and then you go, okay, well, who's the next? I'm like, well, it's Parkway, and everyone says it like you guys just came along 3 albums ago. They don't realize, like, you can realize these guys have been at it for 2 decades, right? They're not new, but you're still kind of new to a lot of the bigger audiences that you're going to be looking at going down the road where you're doing 60,000 in Louisville, right? And it's like
100%.
And you're kind of going, well, okay, we got Parkway. Who's their peers? Not the people who have been doing it. Who are their peers? And I'm like going, I get lost. Chad, anyone?
that can hold a candle to, I mean, you got the
It's
only
not,
thing I can
it's
think
like,
of, now
you can't hold a candle because you're gonna need a bigger fucking candle.
Yeah, exactly. You're not. Yeah.
This is very, very high praise going on here, guys.
You're not in the room right now. You're not in the room.
Yeah. Look. If I reckon the bands that really interest me at the moment, like in terms of our sound, I think Sleep Token and Bad Omens are both doing really awesome things.
Sure.
And I think both of those have potential to do that. And it's interesting for the thing with Parkway is like we're substantially heavier than both of those bands, and it's a different trajectory for us to be able to get into those spaces. The interesting thing for us in the States has been this constant challenge where we know if you see a Parkway show, you're going to come back to a Parkway show. Yeah, but it's very hard to like get that show to the point where it's always a couple of steps behind. Like we've been trying to chart this way of like giving people what we know the potential of the band is and what everyone else sees. But what you're seeing online is essentially this last one was a stadium show put in arenas. And previously it's been arena shows put in like large clubs. But to get to that point, you're like, we're not quite big enough to be able to actually put this show in a venue that's not going to look like a third full and just do a wild show for the sake of it. Like that's the thing. So you're going to do a show where people are like, oh yeah, I'm coming along and I saw it. That's sick. But now the band's bankrupt, and also it's probably not the most vibing show I've seen because it was a psycho show, but it wasn't a vibing room. So we're doing this thing where it's a constant build to be able to give people the show that's on par with what Parkway Drive is worldwide in comparison to where it is in the States. Because I know that anyone that sees the current show that we're doing right now will walk out and you got an 8 in 10 chance of just going, that's the best show I've ever seen in my entire life. Like that's straight up. Like I'm not like, I'm very rare to be a person that hypes us up as a band or just blows smoke up my own ass. But like, it is something which is, it's just fucking awesome, dude. So that's the thing. So we are working a path to be able to put that in front of people, and we have a plan for it. And when that happens, it's going to be a moment where a lot of it clicks for a lot of people, because I know that once you're in on this band, it's like you need the moment where it all kind of makes sense. And all that is live exposure, really. And everything else we're doing, be it like songs that somehow make it onto the radio, or I don't know, anything else that we're doing is just inroads to hopefully getting someone to come and see a gig. That's the thing. Because that's where we started doing this to play shows. We didn't start it to record music or be in an ad or anything like that. It was all about the live experience. That's the thing. And right now, like it's reached a point where I'm just like, like put us up against any band on planet Earth and we will give you a show that rivals or exceeds that. Like, no doubt, that's the thing. So I would love to be able to get to the point where we can actually be a name that is recognized like states wide as, I know what that band is. I know what that brand is. I know what that show is going to be. And goddamn, I want it, because everything about what we do live. I'm like, this is just America. You may as well just fly the American flag across the top of the stage and drive a monster truck to the venue. And
it is a very American show.
It's so American. It's ridiculous. I'm just like, this is insane. This is like UFC meets like WWE
monster trucks.
Meets the crossing of the Delaware or something like that. Who knows? It's just like freedom on.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, okay, it's like, how do you, and you're not trying to sell it. You're just saying, and what makes sense? Like UFC kind of crowd makes sense for you guys because it is the raw. It's hard hitting. It's explosive. That's the crowd. But you're like, how do we sell it to them without like selling it to them? Right.
If you want to see a show, I mean, just all I can say is if you want to see like, I mean, this show is it's still a little while from coming to the States. And either way, I'd just say that we're a band that plays every show like we play our last show. You're never going to see a bad Parkway gig. That's the thing. But if you are interested in seeing what this band is capable of, I can guarantee you that at some point in time you're going to rock up and you're going to see a Parkway gig and go, "That's the best thing I've ever seen." Well, and it's not about it being the hardest thing or the most like intense thing, or it is something that connects. It really is. It does come down to the connection. Everything else on top of it is just absolute bonus. But even you put us in a room with 30 people and a bunch of cabs and a drum kit, and it's still going to be like that connection's still going to be what it's built on. That's the thing. So I mean, that's the cool thing with ShipRocked for us as well, is like we don't get to come with a spinning drum cage and like flames that are going to literally burn a ship down. You get a reasonably raw Parkway show, but you still get the vibe, and the vibe alone is what this band is built on. So that's why we love the opportunities like this.
Bring the inflatable waves.
Oh yeah, dude. We're gonna, I don't know where they're at. That's actually a decent idea, huh? I wonder if we've still got them. Like we've got like a bunch of shipping containers.
Everyone knows what those waves are, man. Anyone who knows you guys knows what those waves.
That would actually be sick. I'll see if we still got them or if they got holes in them, or like rats have eaten them or something by now. Probably a bunch of snakes living in them, knowing Australia. So yeah, something venomous now inhabits.
And you just said, and that's the thing. You just kind of hit it on the head. It's like you got this big show, and you got the kid in the States going. Saw the video, goes, I want to see that show. I'm like, wait, for right now, you're going to have to fly to Spain and Resurrection Festival to see that show. It's coming here. But if you want to see the band in its essence, the ShipRocked thing's kind of the thing. It's like, this is the sell. I mean, the fire and brimstone's the music, right?
Yeah. That's it.
I mean, into it. Yeah.
At the end of the day, like it's this entire crazy show that we're talking about begins with us playing with absolutely nothing on a tiny stage, and it ends in the exact same way. And they're two of the highlights of the entire set. And that's always been what the essence is. And it comes back to everything that we're talking about of us just being regular dudes. I mean, what I love the most about everything that we do is being able to look at someone and just go, they're having the time of their life right now. I know that they're walking away with a memory. They're walking away going, man, I spent my time well, and I'm going to remember that moment. And that's what I've always wanted to give people, because that's what I value in my life. Like I value being able to go and see something and just go, oh, this just makes me feel something that I didn't feel previously. And everything that we do has been created to do different levels of that. And at the very base of it, 5 of us on stage are always going to aim to hit that one mark. And ShipRocked's a really unique thing. Like last time we were on there, like we're halfway through a set watching like middle of the night out in the middle of the ocean, looking at the smoke coming off the top of the smokestack and just going, dude, this is insane. What is happening right now? Like there's all these people going absolutely mental on the pool deck while we're in the middle of the Caribbean, and you can't get a memory and an experience like this anywhere else. This is like absolutely awesome. So like, I mean, that's why we came back. It was weird. We did like I was saying previously, but this was one of the quickest decisions we've ever made as a band. And we didn't even talk about it. We all made the call individually that we wanted to do this again before we even had the band meeting. Like
Yeah.
Normally we have a band meeting of like, hey, we got to discuss what's coming up, blah, 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 blah. And an email got sent out saying, hey, who's up for doing ShipRocked again? And everyone just replied to the email chain of like, hell yeah, sign me up. That was epic last time. Can't wait to do it again. Boom. And we're like, this has never happened before.
It's so funny. It's really down to the people who cruise with us who send in that card at the end of the cruise and go, hey, who do you want to see again? Parkway. It's like, okay, we don't want to keep bringing back year after year if they want to come, but it's like, we'll give it a year to breathe. We'll give it a year to breathe. And it's like, you guys still into it? Fuck yeah, we are. All right, guys, you available? Come on.
Yeah, it's so sick, man. It's so sick. That's it. So it's going to be a time. It's going to be a time, man. That's the thing. So I will have to see.
I love the fact that you guys have already got it down. You realize what it is. There's nothing to be worried about. There's the fan stuff's going to still be like good to see. You're not kind of like, how's this work out? Now you got it down. Yeah. So now it's much easier for you to enjoy.
100%. Like it was, we went into it like, we did a post podcast last time, didn't we? Yeah. And, it was like the experience was, we really went into it with like no idea what to expect.
Yep.
Like none, absolutely none. Like, how do you prepare for something like that? And it exceeded like so far beyond what we had expected of a time to be able to have. And now that we're prepared for it, like it really is like, it's something that we're so psyched for. It's really cool. Like everyone was just, fans were so nice. Food was sick. Boat was rad. Other bands were awesome. Gig was sick. Stops were awesome. Like there was no downside to any of it, even remotely. It was all just so, like there was so many things that popped up when we got this offer again. I was like, I can't wait to get pizza from that. Like after we play the gig, I can't wait to see people like on a second story, like moshing out to this. I can't wait to stop at the beach and hear a band playing. Like it's nuts. So it's cool. It's really cool.
I mean, sometimes people go on, it's like, well, who's on it? Have you seen who the other bands are on this? Have you looked at the lineup?
Yeah.
Oh, we just toured with the Ghost Inside. So
okay, okay.
The fact that those boys are on it like alone is really awesome because they're really good friends of ours. But yeah,
that's great to hear.
It's in the lineup. It's going to be sick. So that's the thing. And so many of the bands we like. There's a bunch of bands we knew last time, and then a bunch of bands that I'd never met before. And either way, it was all really rad. Everyone had the same vibe of it. It's just it must be a really interesting sell to get bands on it in the first place, of just because you can't really expect it. Like even for the most tour hardy band, you don't know what it's like being on a cruise ship with fans and playing gigs. There's something you got to experience to know. But like, yeah. But it's
absolutely,
good.
Well, we got a. I mean, do you know what the stowaways are? Do you check it out last time?
Yep.
Everybody, and so I put it together with Al, and everybody we've talked to is like, oh, is Winston going to sing a song? Is Winston going to sing a song? So I want to use this time to formally invite you. We're doing 80s sets this year. That's the theme. So like in one of them's like a poppy side of the 80s and the other one's like a metal side of the 80s. And you can pick whatever you want if you want to come in and do it. But literally, I'm telling you, every single person that we've talked to in the Stowaways lineup, you know, like, because we have bands that are also playing, a member from a band that's also playing will come in. Most of them aren't playing on the ship.
I know some of them personally, so I already know a couple of them.
So just FYI, that you are welcome in any way, shape, or form. Just want to put that 80s man.
I've seen the theme nights, and it made myself and my wife very excited. So I'm an 80. I was born in 82, so I'm an 80s kid. So, oh man, I'll have to think about that one actually.
Yeah, give it a thought. No pressure. I just wanted to put it out here.
Someone who's never done karaoke in his life. So that's a really interesting.
How come I sense right now there's pressure? How come I sense right now he's going, oh man,
you could go up there and play a fucking kazoo, dude.
Because everyone knows this fucking song.
Yeah.
They were just everybody, you know, obviously us included, but everybody just kept saying, is Winston going to do it? I'm like,
I'll have a think. It could be absolutely awesome. We'll see. I'll have a think. Like I've got a couple of months to go still. And this is the first show back for us next year. So like no pressure, but I could fully boost it off with some wild 80s song. That could be sick. Yeah. Oh, you don't want to throw these hypotheticals at me because it derails an interview where I just start going into
the wheels are spinning.
You watch the monkeys start hitting the typewriter in my brain, and that's all I can hear. It's just like
I saw it. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You guys are kind of down until the cruise.
Yeah.
Any plans for yourself? You guys do anything? You doing anything in the off season?
We got a bunch of stuff next year, which involves a little bit of work. There's a bunch of wild, unconventional stuff happening for Parkway next year, which is going to be really, really awesome. But it just involves different creativity. So there's a bit of work going on with that. We said we'd give ourselves a couple of months to decompress a little bit from this last year of touring. Mainly from this last one tour, because it was just psycho putting that show together. But I think we're going to just chill a little bit. Like it's weird. This has been the first week at home where I haven't had meetings and productions and all of this kind of stuff to do, and we haven't had to jam as a band. And I've actually woken up in the morning and I've gone, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing? And I can't remember.
Oh yeah.
No, the surf's been bad. That's the thing. Yeah. The surf's been bad. So like all I've got is like the gym, but I work out in the afternoon. So the rest of the time I've just been like, I can't remember the last time I actually had to figure out what to do with time. Like it's the first vacation that I've actually.
I was going to ask you,
had in years.
If you're not working, do you have hobbies? Do you have things you do? Do you have like any undertaking?
A little bit of Lego in the background here.
The Star Wars thing.
Yeah. No, I like
model builder then.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
No, I do. I play some video games and I take care of that. Like I do housework and stuff like that. And like I surf a lot, and generally like the surf is really good. It just happens to be really bad right now, which just highlights like when the surf is good. I'm one of those people that's like, see you later. I'm out for 5 hours now, and then I'll come in and I'll eat some food, and I'm out for like another 5 hours. And oh my God, it was sunrise to sunset, and it's just day after day of that, which is absolute luxury. But when the surf's bad, like it's just unusually bad right now, and it just highlights the fact that surfing means a lot to me when I have off time. Yeah, that's it. But normally I'd be doing something creative with the band, and I've intentionally tried to just go, you've done enough, just switch off right now and recharge a little bit, because I know like on the other side of it there's a lot of creativity to come. So just turn it off and just be happy, like knowing that I don't have to do some life-changing decision right now.
Yeah, for sure.
I do love the fact that
to come. So
your last US tour, you guys were hitting some of the surf pools.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was fun. We've hit Palm Springs, and we did Waco as well, which was really
Waco
fun.
Of all places,
I
man.
know, it's crazy, huh? Like out of anywhere, like the first wave pool that kicks off is in Waco, Texas. I'm like, really? Okay, cool, interesting. But yeah, that's a super good time. Like we're kind of in. I've said it every time I've surfed in a pool. I'm like, we are in the luckiest generation of surfers around. We've been lucky enough to like live our entire lives growing up drawing wave pools on like your exercise books in school, going, imagine being able to surf in a pool where there's perfect waves over and over again, and then being old enough for it to happen and still be physically able to surf those waves and not be over the hill going, damn, I wish it was 15 years earlier. Now I'm just old and broken. So we get to live in this generation where we spend an entire upbringing wishing for waves on tap, and now we get them, and we get to go on tour in a band and like go, hey, we're in this city, and they've got a pool where there's waves now.
Wave pool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, did you ever see that movie North Shore?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, of course. They showed that in high school in our town.
Dude, the best.
Yeah.
The kid from Arizona beating Laird Hamilton.
100%. Yeah. Chris Burkhart's board, pulling his leg rope. Yeah.
Chris Burkhardt. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Turtle.
Hey,
worst.
Like the last ShipRocked that we did, Ben actually went for a surf.
Yeah.
On one of the islands. I can't remember which one, but he ended up like finding a wave and walking up to someone's house going, you got a board? Can I borrow that? They were like, yeah, it's my son's, but go for it. There's a wave out there. And he went out and went for a surf on the days. Yeah. It was, I can't remember which one it was. I think it was Turks and Caicos, which I wasn't expecting them to be waves as well, which was really wild. It was like, hey, I went for a surf today. So sick. Yeah.
St. Thomas. I don't know if they're known. They're known for their diving. I don't know if they're known for their surf. But,
dude, I don't think so at all. But like, he got lucky.
It's awesome.
I got a question for you, but real quick, and then we'll let you get to your night. I don't know if Justin has one as well, but you mentioned how everybody in the band has a different set of music standards, all the things that you have that culminate in one. But for you personally, is there one song, any song ever that, like, I don't know, brings the strongest memories of your life forward in happiness or sad? Like just that one song that when you hear it, something happens to you.
Not of ours. You just mean in general, right?
Yeah. It could be yours, but yeah, in general.
No, it's God, that's like another one of the monkeys on typewriter situations for me. I'm so bad with this. Like, give me your 5 favorite albums. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
No, look, it's interesting. There's a hell of a lot of them. I have a lot of them from tour, which aren't necessarily like specific songs. It's entire albums, because when we I'm definitely like an albums kind of guy. There's a lot of Nick Cave's latest stuff.
Fuck yes.
Is like it moves me greatly, because like I was going through a lot of grief at the time that it came out, and there's a lot of grieving songs on there, but then without it becoming too dark, there's also a lot of the time we spent on our first tours, especially in America, were spent listening to an Ignite album. What else was there? There's a bunch of other like Bad Religion albums, NoFX albums, that were spent just getting played over and over again. AFI, the December Underground album. Like these aren't albums where I'm just like, oh my God, they're life-changing. But when you say they evoke a memory, there's when you listen to a song and immediately you remember the time and place. There's so much where I put these albums on or these songs on, and I'm just like, I'm in the back of a Sprinter van, lying on the floor, driving down Highway 1 in California, and that's it. And like, or I'm driving around a mountain pass in Oregon right now, and it takes me straight back. They're really, really visceral memories. So yeah, it's less about like, I'm less of a person that has like that song that I go back to that means that the world to me kind of thing. Actually, you know what? There's one song. There's one. Oh God, why has it just jumped out of my head? I just had it. There's a Nick Cave song that was my wife and I's first dance. Breathless. And every time I hear that,
fuck.
Yeah, which
that's
is
a good first song.
Yeah, and that was absolutely beautiful. And I've heard him perform it once before, and my wife got to go to a show where he was literally sitting at the piano by himself, just going, "What do you guys want to hear?" People are just yelling things out, and then he just whip out the sheet music and play it. And she was just like breathless at one show. She didn't sound like that, but she screamed it, and she did say that she sounded like interesting when she screamed it. And he was like, "Breathless, cool," and played it. And she came home from that gig going, "Oh my God, I yelled it." And he played it. It's amazing. So yeah,
wow.
I mean, that one song means a lot to me.
That was a good story. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Hey, Winston, you're standing at the foot of the gallows. What's your last meal?
Oh God, I'm someone who enjoys a very basic good pasta with good tomatoes and basil and cheese. So there's that, or there's a really good Mexican meal which involves guac, because I love guac. and the temptation is to go either way right there, because they're my two favorite things. I think I'm so basic with it, but yeah, man, like it's yeah, one of those two. If you can,
I pick whatever takes longest.
yeah, true. Yeah, you know what? I'd order takeaway from some cafe in Rome that makes a really good cacio e pepe and get that delivered, because yeah,
might take a while.
Pasta, yeah, it might take a while, and that's the best pasta I've ever eaten. So yeah,
that's awesome. Well, Winston, man, we've had you for almost an hour. We can't thank you enough. Thanks for everything. Congratulations on a hell of a 2024, and we look forward to helping. You and us, we're helping each other get 2025 kicked off properly. So
hell yeah, it's gonna be
brother.
rad.
Yeah,
stokes.
Have a great rest of your summer. Have a great summer. That sounds so weird.
Yeah. Good luck with winter. We'll see you in a warmer place.
Thank you.
All right, my friend. Take care of yourself.
Later,
Cheers,
brother.
guys.
Best.
Yeah.